there you go. A little bit of a early attempt on In My Life. I hope that didn't strain you too much. All right, let me put that away here for a second, and we'll see if we can get to some questions. Gene is saying, good evening from London, Kentucky. Oh, Bill is saying, hey, Dr. Steve. I don't know if I'm officially a doctor, although, oddly enough, that is, the doctor is something that they call me. Quite a few musicians call me doctor for some reason. I'm not a doctor. I would love to have my doctorate, but it's just too many years. I thought about getting my doctorate there for a while, but I'm on session 6 of Learn to Master Guitar, and the G chord is always my bottleneck. I use the 2-3 fingering from your DVD. Any advice would be great. Thanks so much, Bill. All right, Bill, let me grab my J45, and let's talk about that. G chord, one of the early chords that you learn on guitar. Now, there are lots of different ways to play it. Okay, realize with every chord, there's lots of different ways that you can play it. Now, a lot of folks play this version of it with the second finger, first finger, open, 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 and then third or maybe even fourth down here, or maybe even third and fourth on the second and first string. Okay? When I teach younger students, or not younger students, but I mean people that are just learning guitar, I tend to teach this version of it, third finger, second finger, and then open, 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 pinky on the G. That's just kind of a little bit more of a standard way to play the G chord. Which one's right? Well, there's G's everywhere. There's a G, 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 there's a G. You get the idea, they're everywhere. Anywhere I can combine a G, B, and a D, I've got a G chord. So there's not one right way. So first of all, kind of don't get into that trap. Now, I tend to teach this because it's easily related to the C chord when you do it this way. You can kind of go, there's C, there's G. So you just take a C chord, you raise your 2 fingers up to the 5th and 6th strings, and you have reach your pinky down here. Now, for a lot of folks, sometimes that stretch between my third finger and my pinky may be the problem there, and Bill, that may be the problem with you. So you're welcome to try the other ones. There's nothing wrong with it. To do second finger, first finger, and then open, 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 or you can put your third finger on the second string at the 3rd fret, pinky on the first string at the 3rd fret. You're welcome to try that one. Or if you want an easier version of it, you can just do the bottom 4 strings and just have your 3rd or your 4th finger, probably your 3rd, just play the bottom string, 2nd, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string is all open, and then you have a G after that. Now, part of what is the problem is probably your hand flexibility. So I would encourage everybody to, at the beginning of your practice time, to work on these sorts of hand stretching little exercises, okay? That just helps your fingers spread apart, and that helps those muscles to loosen up a little bit. So that would be my advice there. Felicia is saying, how can I make myself do slow practice? Great question, Felicia, because slow practice is really where the real work gets done. I guess part of the thing is just realize in your mind, Felicia, that you don't learn well unless you're relaxed. And that's not just me postulating here. That is science. You just don't learn well when you're in a panic type of posture. So you learn better when you're just relaxed and when you're just kind of letting the information soak in rather than being tense and doing like that. So if you find you're tense, stuff like that, just relax, go do something else for a while until you can come back at it when you're relaxed, when your mind is ready to kind of receive and not fight back. So, and regarding slow practice, just take away the clock, man. Don't put there's no clock on this thing. And just go as slow as you need to. Like on that In My Life song. One of the challenging part is the that's sort of a pattern there, and that was challenging me. So as far as slow practice for it, man, you just think about every move. It's not just going slow, it's thinking about the choreography that your hand has to go through in order to make whatever move that you're working on. And you just go as stupid slow as you need to. But Steve, I feel stupid going that slow. Hey man, welcome to life. Welcome to guitar learning. You want to really learn guitar? Then get off of Instagram with all of these 15-second guys that are going to show you some radical concept in 15 seconds. Just stop all that and start to think and wonder about the guitar a little bit. Let your mind kind of explore the instrument. Just enjoy making sounds on this thing. Kind of figure out how the mechanics, if I keep all the fingers down, I get things ringing together. And there's a lot of control that has to happen there in order to make something beautiful. So as far as slow practice, I would take just one or two things that you're trying to conquer in a practice session and just in your mind, slow it down to where I'm gonna get this. I don't care how slow I have to do it. That's the mindset that you need to have with practicing slow. And I would encourage everybody. This is not me. You can go onto videos and watch Yo-Yo Ma, the great cellist, talk about practicing slow. And you've got to practice slow. Once you can play it slow, then you can always speed up. But if you're used to kind of fumbling through it fast, you'll never be able to clean it up until you actually slow it down. Hopefully that made some sense to you. Skip is asking how to get from knowing how to play a song to getting that song to be performance ready. Two different skills. You have, think of it like a workshop. You've got your woodworker, and you work you're in your wood shop and you're crafting this thing. You're kind of making this thing. That's like us in the practice room. We've got the door closed, nobody's listening, and we're trying to just figure out how to play this song or that exercise or whatever we're working on. So once we've got the song down where we think we can do it, now I need to go to actually another skill set, and that's the performing skill set. Okay, so it's two completely different skill sets. Okay, you may know your tunes great, but I put a person in front of you and say perform it, and you freeze up. And you say, what happened? Must be not good at it all. No, you're good at it. You just haven't learned how to perform it yet. And so completely different skill set. So how do we learn how to perform? Well, we start making ourselves do things like go front to back on the song. I don't care what happens. I'm going to make it from front to back. I'm not going to stop. Put yourself on a metronome. I'm not going to slow down, because a lot of times when we practice by ourselves, we have a tendency to slow down. And once you can play this song, play it once or twice each time you touch your instrument, and get used to doing that. Maybe slowly try and memorize it. Turn over the page a little bit and see how far you can get without having to look at the music. You start doing little games with yourself like that. Eventually, over the course of time, and it does take time, you'll get better at just having a couple of songs that you don't even have to have music for. You can always whip out because you've learned them that deeply. And as far as performing, once you've kind of gotten used to going front to back on the song, I don't care what happens. Now, I made a mistake in that one part, like I always do. Okay, then you have to take it out and you go back into the workshop and you work out that one part or whatever you're working on. Once you can get that back again, then you go back and you put it back in the song, you try and perform it. Then you try and perform it for your dog. Try and perform it for your pet. That's always the first step, okay? And then grab your spouse, significant other, and play it for them. Just say, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to like it, just sit here and let me get used to playing it for you. And you get better at that skill of performing. That's how you do it. Record yourself. That's another way to do it. That's a very frustrating way to do it. Slap a camera, turn your phone around, put the camera on video, and try and record yourself doing that. Oh, but Steve, I hate how I look. Yep. Welcome, again, welcome to guitar playing. It's a team sport, and it's meant for music to be heard, so you got to get used to all of that. So that would be some suggestions I would say for that. Don is saying, how do you perfect sweep picking? Well, I've never been much of a... I've never done much with sweep picking, but I can show you what I know, which isn't much. As with anything, if you want to perfect anything, you go slow with it. Hope you all can hear that all right. Okay. All right. So sweep picking, again, I'm not a rock guy, so I just kind of do what I can. But basically, it's economy of motion. If I'm going through an arpeggio, let's say, all of these 4 strings that are downward motion, I would do as one motion instead of pick, 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 pick. I would stay in one motion and go all the way down. Now, the problem is generally not down. The problem is coming up to where you're making all of the motion as you're coming back. That sort of a thing. I would, as with anything, if you practice it slow and with determination, you can get it. Now, the challenge is with sweep picking is not to just go bleh, but to make it go at a very specific rate when you're moving that hand down and moving that hand back up. So a good way to practice that is arpeggios. Okay, so try and get a close-up, if we can, of this hand right here. And I'll go through that same arpeggio. And again, you can see when I'm doing multiple strings. One more time. So the trick is timing your pattern going up to where it stays steady. At least that's what seems to be for me. And again, I just do some research on YouTube and find some guys that really do that, and they'll be able to give you a little bit more use for that. The guys that can do it are just amazing. It's just never been something that I've needed to do a lot, and so I haven't really perfected that too much. Gold Bug I think is what it says. It's a little bit far away. Sorry, my monitor. I struggle when improvising a solo coming out of a faster lick run to something that is slower. Okay. The spinning out of something is what you're getting at, and that is a problem when you're kind of going at one speed and then you have to slow down to the next one. For me, it has to do with picking accuracy. You wouldn't think it would have to do with that, but for me, that's what it has to do with. Is I can play pretty fast with this hand, but what eventually will catch up and get me is this hand, is my picking hand. So spending some time with some picking practice, making that a little bit a part of your routine. And not just trying to go fast, but measure yourself. You want to make real progress, start measuring yourself. Okay, I did a whole fretboard workout series on. It's probably down in the YouTube links down there, on picking and picking exercise, picking and dexterity. So I would encourage you to check that out if you haven't. That's the best resource I can find for doing that. But basically, you put yourself on the clock, okay, and then let's say I'm going to do. I'll put it here where you can hear me. Let's say I'm going to do quarter notes. I'm alternating picking. Now, I can play faster than this, but you've got to go slow in order to get up to that speed. When you walk into a gym, you don't just put up your highest weight. You got to work up to it. Okay, so now let's say I'm doing eighth notes. Okay, and I work my way up and down that. I do that for a good 5 or 10 minutes. And eventually I end up with 16 notes. Then I start doing licks. So I'm practicing little patterns. Adding some other rhythms in there. And you're slowly kind of working up out of it. And once you kind of can get your picking down, I find that you're changing speeds, changing gears between eighths and 16th notes and quarters and things like that tends to do a little bit better. So, and you just practice that. Practice scales or arpeggios and eighth notes, and then triplets, and then switching back to eighth, and you just get used to kind of switching gears like that. That would be what I would suggest. Stevens Brown is saying a 4-note box with a good pattern. A 4-note box with a good pattern. Well, okay. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, but I guess you're just, what's a good pattern that uses 4 notes? And that's an easy one. All right, so let's get a little groove here going. I got my thing over here, but it's a little hard to reach. I need to scoot my pattern out here. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Oop. Let's try it one more time without the distortion. All right, not my best groove, but there you go. An A minor 7th to a F major 7th. 4 notes that I'm going to use are going to be a G, an A, a C, and a D. 1 and 3 on the 4th and the 3rd string at the 5th fret. I'm just trying to make something musical happen with these 4 notes. Hey, what if I taught those same pattern and I go up an octave? So now I'm up here at the 2nd and 1st string, up here at the 8th position, and I can do the same finger pattern. Got to discover all the little patterns you can do even with just 4 notes. Hey, if I go down 2 frets, I can do the same thing an octave lower. All kinds of little patterns on guitar that you can do. It's got to be a simple 4-note pattern. 1st and 3rd finger. And I'm playing that over an A minor and an F major 7. Just some little things. Hey, Taylor 315, thank you for helping out with the Super Chat. We got the Super Chat, and we also have the PayPal going tonight if you want to support the work that we do. Everything that you do everything that you give really does help, keep the lights, literally keep the lights on here with all of that. So it's all appreciated. Sure appreciate the y'all giving with all that. John Sikora, how do I play a solo without it sounding like I'm playing scales? Making that leap, I did a lesson. You might have to research on our channel. It was a lesson probably 3 or 4 years ago, making the leap from scales to solos, and I talk exactly about that problem there. The main thing is that you want to try and create an idea. But Steve, I don't have any idea. All I have is a scale. I don't have any ideas of what to play with that. Okay, so the ideas are the problem, not licks that I can show you, okay? So you want to, how do I get you to be creative with your ideas and making that? My solution for that is we need to do a course on this of how to be creative, how to learn how to start creating in your own self. I've got a couple of exercises. Just try and find a melody on the instrument without having anything written down. If we're trying to find a melody, I don't care if it's Happy Birthday or your favorite melody, you're just making some up. Okay, but Steve, I don't know what to play. Because you're not used to this, and you're going to be terrible at it at first, and you play the first couple of notes and it sounds wonky, and then you give up. Okay, don't do that. Keep splashing around in the pool until you can find a few licks that sound good. Well, that didn't sound terrible. Wonder if I could do that in different places. Wonder if I could do more of that. So once you find something that you like, try and create more around that. Well, that was good. Maybe I can even bend that note. Spend some time trying to work that muscle of creativity. I don't know. I've said this 1,000 different ways. I don't know how to say it any clearer. I'm not fussing at you. I just wish there was a better way that I could do that. You need to try and find a melody. Try and pick it out on the guitar. Don't get music to it. Try and pick it out on the guitar. I'm going to play Happy Birthday, and I'm going to start wherever my finger lands. Okay, my finger landed there. Okay, I'm going to use my first finger. I'm going to do Happy Birthday wherever my finger lands. Hey, I haven't hit the right note. Let's do another one. There you go. You're going to make a bunch of mistakes, but you try a simple little melody. What am I training? I'm training my ear to be able to hear an idea in my head and have it to be able to come out through my fingers. And I think people just get way too mystified over that. So yes, you've got your scales. I've given you your scales. Great. Play Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Same notes I just played the scale in. Right? Try little games like that. That helps you to try and make something creative. And then move past melodies and try and create something on your own, even if it's just a 2-note groove. Put on a little groove, put on a little play-along track, an A minor or something like that. Pick a note in an A minor chord, A, C, E, or G, or the C scale, and try and force yourself to be creative. Force that muscle to be creative. A lot of guys just get so stuck with that. How do I make the jump from scales to solos? I was being fussed at literally a week ago. Someone was emailing me, and they were chewing me out for not being a good instructor because they couldn't figure out how to make their scales turn into solos. And they were chewing me out for maybe a bad instructor. Okay? Now, I may be a bad instructor. I don't know. But don't let anybody, I don't know how to say this clear. Don't let anybody stop you from making music. Your job as a musician is to claw out that knowledge from me, from other places, from every video that you can find, from yourself, to claw out that information. And that's how you get it done. It just doesn't happen easily or overnight. You've got to force yourself to be creative. I've harped on that enough. Hey, thanks, Ron. Appreciate all that all your support with all of that. Hey, while we're at a little bit of a break point here, let's give something away. You know, one of the great string manufacturers for classical strings is Augustine. They're kind of the really big dogs with classical guitar strings. So I got a few Augustine shirts. I got a large here. So our lovely producer is going to pick a name. Is that the name? Jason Harrington. Jason Harrington, you have just won this shirt for Augustine strings. It's a large. Hopefully you're a large. Jason, send me your information at service@guitargathering.com, and we will send this out to you. Send me your mailing information, screen name, what you want, things like that. I see everybody else has a couple of good questions here. I want to get to those too, but I wanted to let you know about a couple things. Let me play a jazz thing. We've got our Love Songs Guitar Gathering Academy, where we've been learning a bunch of songs. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I wanted to play a jazz thing first. I don't know why I got to thinking about this tune today. Autumn Leaves. It's such a great little jazz tune. And I thought I've got this little Harvey Benton guitar. This it's a baritone guitar. And it just gets such a rich sound. So I thought, well, let me play a little bit of Autumn Leaves on this and see if we can make something happen on this. Again, this is just me trying to figure something out. So we'll see if something happens. Friends don't let friends play out of tune. Let me tune this up. It's too good of a song to have me out of tune. There's the problem right there. I think these warm lights are causing my guitar to go out of tune. All right, then thanks for your patience. All right, let's play it. A little bit of Autumn Leaves. A little clunky to play. This is just a bigger animal to play. The strings are just so much thicker, it's just a little difficult to play, but it gets such an interesting sound. There you go. There you go. I love the baritone acoustic. You hardly ever hear it, and it's just kind of nice to do something else with it. Hey, let's give something else away. What can we give away? Let's give away a Tom Hemby CD and some strings. We'll give away some Tom Hemby CD and some strings. The winner of this is Kevin McPartland. You have just won Tom Hemby CD and a couple of strings. Kevin, send me your information and what you won, all that sort of stuff, at service@guitargathering.com, and we will get that out to you. Such a good, lots of questions. Alan is saying, how do you advance from a basic lead to a more embellished lead? Well, you got to learn just more tricks. I'm sorry, I'm just not very eloquent today. When you're just starting out in any endeavor, you kind of have a crayon box that only has about 8 crayons in it. When you, as you spend more time with the instrument and in soloing situations, you kind of get a little bit more tricks that you can play with various things. So the thing that I would suggest is just get more familiar with the ideas instead of playing. I know I'm not being as helpful as I could have. If I'm playing a simple lead, all right, so I got this just simple little groove, kind of a bluesy thing. What can I do to jazz that up? Well, I can add just tricks. I can add bends. I can add intensity. I can speed up and play, even though I'm not necessarily playing anything quicker this way, I could just speed up my picking. Let's see. So sometimes with intensity, you can do things. Generally, you want your solo to start low and end high. So you're adding, I can mess around with dynamics, with speed, with bends, with intensity. I can do little pull-offs. Just anything to kind of create a little bit more interest rather than a simple thing. But don't minimize the importance of just a simple idea. A lot of the best solos started with just a simple idea that is then elaborated upon. So let's say my idea is this. Just a little two-note idea. What can I do with that? I've added a third note. I changed the idea there. You're trying to tell a little story with your solo. You want to take it somewhere. I'm not just kind of rambling. And think of a good story. Think of a good joke. You kind of set it up, then you repeat it, and then the third time you take it somewhere else and take it to a new direction. Maybe do something else with the idea. That's kind of some ideas you can have to elaborate your Man. Any exercises, Brian is asking, any exercises for speed reading music, especially triads and chords? No, I wish I was just better at explaining it. I force myself to do things. So let's say I'm going to play Autumn Leaves, and I'm supposed to do, what am I supposed to do, especially triads and chords? Okay, so I'm going to do just triads on Autumn Leaves, and see if I can come up with something. I'm just forcing myself to play that. So much of what I do, if I don't know how to do something, I just force myself to start doing it, and force myself to start using triads. Force myself to, let's do inner triads. Ooh, that's going to be tougher. Two notes. Let's see. Just forcing myself to do something. I'm sorry I'm not explaining things real well. A lot of my learning is just forcing myself to do something I know I'm not good at, and I force myself to try and just work on a skill until I can be a little bit more proficient at it. Rarely for me does it come with learning a special lick or something like that. It just comes from me clawing out the information, being able to try and figure out how to do it. Perseverance is going to be your best friend in learning an instrument, is just being strong in your perseverance, not letting anything deter you from learning this instrument. Yeah, that would be what I would stick that there. Bus Dude is saying, is there any workaround for fat fingers? Well, it doesn't have to do much with the fatness of your fingers. I saw Johnny Highland, who's got little sausages for fingers, and he can zip around on the guitar as much with as much facility as you can imagine. So it has to do really with the dexterity of your fingers, what you can get your fingers to do. So I would spend some time trying to get my fingers to do very specific things. I give some picking exercises in that dexterity, speed and dexterity fretboard workout. That really helps me in as far as getting my fingers on their fingertips to be able to do what they need to do. And I've seen guys with, long fingers play guitar. I've seen guys with short fingers play guitar. I've seen guys with fat fingers play guitar. It's just determine that you're able to do it and figure out how to get that finger up on the top and where it's not touching those other strings would be what I would suggest there. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for all that you've given. Neil is saying, Steve, do you think it's better to focus on perfecting one style of music playing versus a variety of styles? Well, perfecting is the problem word in that sentence, Neil. If you try and do anything to the point of perfection, you're going to probably burn out long before you actually get to perfection. So the problem is learning to do things without being. Don't make perfection be the taskmaster of your goal. Perfection is not to be. I find it's easier to concentrate on one thing at a time. It's just easier for me to concentrate on one thing at a time rather than doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, I've got to cover a whole lot of content. But what helps me in learning a style is listening to players in that style. Trying to play a little bit of simple music in that style would, helps me kind of understand what's involved. If it's a new tuning or something like that, I have to just dive in it and conquer it there for a while. Sorry, I feel like I'm not giving you very good answers today on everything. David Patrick is saying, discourse in depth on the dots on the neck and using them in an arrangement. Okay, well, I don't know about using them in arrangement, but I mean, here's basically what's happening with the dots on your neck. You've got dots at the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, the 9th, and then the 12th. You generally have the double dot up here at the 12th. Now, classical guitars sometimes don't have any dots. Sometimes they only have just one at the 5th. So these are the major positions that you need to be able to know on guitar. You need to be able to know the open position. What are my notes in the open position? That down here. And then another position that you need to know is kind of this 4th or 5th area here. So this is another area that's going to get a lot of use. The next one is going to be the 7th and 8th position, kind of around here. This is usually where folks kind of get there when they're not sure what's going on. After this, it's just 12th, and you're back repeating again. So really, you only need to learn, kind of 3 because they overlap. Open, 4th and 5th, kind of around here, and then 7th and 8th, kind of around this part of the neck. How do you learn that? Well, you play different melodies there. You try and do dumb little games of finding every note on the string. Let's find every F. There's an F here. There's an F there. Those are the only 2 on that string. There's an F there. There's another one here in the stratosphere, but that's unusable. We've got one here on the 4th string here, another one here, another one here on the 3rd string. And again, there's one up here in the stratosphere, but that's unusable. There's the F there. There's the F there. There's the F there. So between all of those, we get... Let's see. And you play little games with that. Find all the C's now. Find all the B flats. Something like that. You play little melodies. Okay? And you try C, D, E, D, E, C, C, D, E, D. And you say the notes as you play them. Eventually, after a couple of weeks of hard work, you'll get this part of the neck. Try and learn a melody, Autumn Leaves or something like that, instead of playing it down here. Try and play it up here. Or maybe here. Okay, well now let's play the 7th and 8th. See, that one works very comfortable right there. That's why folks kind of tend to play that in that position. Dan is saying, would you recommend backing tracks? Yes, I would recommend backing tracks. In all ways, I would recommend backing tracks. Now, there's a lot of good ones. You can go onto YouTube and find whatever you want to as far as backing tracks. They have different styles and things like that. Just type in A minor rock backing track, and you'll find, a whole bunch of them. There's also a program called iReal Pro. iReal Pro. IREALPRO is an app that you buy for a little bit of a price. I forget what it is, but it's basically all of these jazz songs, and you can dial up the progressions, and you can slow it down, you can change keys, you can do all kinds of things. Those are great little backing tracks for that, so for jazz things. Okay. Okay, let's give away one more thing. What can we give away? Let's give away a tuner. My wonderful wife, she's our giveaway queen tonight. Somebody's about to win this. Nope. Yeah, Ron Campbell. Ron Campbell, you've just won a Fishman tuner. Send me your information, Ron, at service@guitargathering.com. We'll get this out to you. Okay. We do have our live lessons, or excuse me, our Guitar Gathering Academy, our love song that we are just starting out, and the songs are just starting to come out. It is a ton of work for me to put these together, but I love doing it. It kind of forces me to get creative with it. The song that we did this week, it's not too late for you to join in with us. It's basically 4 weeks of learning 4 songs. It's a good challenge every week. To learn the melody, learn the chords. We have a live Zoom session that we do with it too. We sent out the first song this week, so you don't have to worry about getting behind. Just sign up tonight, and you'll still be able to get this one. This is the song for this week. Is "You Are So Beautiful." So let me see if I can play a little bit of this for you. This is the song that you'd be learning. There you go. A little bit of "You Are So Beautiful." So, hey, if you're interested in learning these songs with us, it's a great challenge for you to be able to do that, and it's really great material. So, appreciate you being part of our live lesson family. We will not be having a show next week, so we will see you the week after that. Hey, thank you so much. Keep up the great work in your learning. We'll see you.